Okay, my dear students, today I am going to discuss a famous poem, namely Ode to a Nightingale, written by the great romantic poet John Keats. You know, the life of John Keats is not so pleasant in this earth. Naturally, he very often shows escapism. In fact, he time and again wants to depart from this jaundiced and problematic earth. He wants to transport himself to the ideal world. When he was seriously ill and the doctor prescribed him to change his habitat for a few days for the sake of his health, he goes to his best friend Charles Armitage Brown. There he resides for many days, and by the house of his friend there is a forest, and every day he is transported by a beautiful song sung by the Nightingale. And once in the morning he takes a chair from the breakfast table and looks towards the forest and starts to write something. After 2 hours he comes back with some scrap of papers, and the summation of those scrap of papers gives birth to his great poem, Ode to a Nightingale. Now, the world of Nightingale is supposed to be an ideal world, the problem-free world. It is just opposite to the world we live in. Our world is full of problems, and Keats is so much sorry with this world. So naturally he time and again wants to escape from this problematic world. Now he directly addresses to the Nightingale, as it is an ode. Ode is nothing but an addressing poem. The address is normally made to some person or to some elemental forces or to some moral virtues, considering it or him to be living and breathing entity. In the very opening chapter, in the very opening stanza of the poem, Keats addresses the poem, the word Nightingale. But before that he presents his own illness due to the direct effect of the song, of the bird song. The poem starts, "My heart aches and a drowsy numbness pains my sense." The first line focuses on Keats's physical numbness. It means his body parts are not properly working. His consciousness is going to be deactivated. Now, of course, there must be some reasons for this numbness, for this heart aches. And as a number one reason, he says, "As though of hemlock I had drunk." It seems to him that he has drunk hemlock, which has deactivated his senses and which is also giving him the aching sensation. The aching sensation The word hemlock alludes to the very pathetic incident which occurred to Mr. Socrates, the Greek philosopher. Socrates is forced to drink the juice of hemlock. Naturally, he dies. The juice of hemlock is poisonous narcotic. Naturally, Socrates died. To Keats, it seems that he has drunk hemlock, that's why he is going to be unconscious. As a second option, he says, or emptied some dull opiate to the drains. It seems to him that he has drunk dull opiate to the drains, meaning from the very bottom surface, meaning leach. The phrase dull opiate signalizes the hyper-energetic opiate, meaning opium. Opium, one kind of narcotic which deactivates our senses. In the same way, dull opiate, the more the narcotic is dull, the more it is energetic. The more it is dull, meaning of old times, the more it is energetic. 1 minute passed and leathers had sunk. This is another option. Keats thinks that he has been submerged in the Lethe river. The word Lethe alludes to the biblical story, biblical incident. The word Lethe means a river in Hades, meaning in hell. After the death, the souls of the living beings are submerged into the river Lethe, and the soul forgets everything of the past life. To Keats, his senses are being deactivated and he forgets everything, and he thinks that he is submerged or dipped into the river Lethe. That's why he is feeling the aching sensation or drowsy numbness. So these are the three probable reasons for which Keats is physically ill. But in the very next line, he shows the actual reason. The actual reason is that it is not through envy of the happy lot, but being too happy in the happiness. We normally feel same kind of sensation because of our jealousy, because of our envy. The human beings, it is a problem of the earth. We can never tolerate the flourish or proper growth of our neighboring people, of our enemies. Naturally, we feel the same kind of feelings. But Keats says that he is not suffering for the sense of jealousy, but being too happy in the happiness. Keats is sharing the happiness of the nightingale. The excessive happiness gives him sense of achingness, ache or numbness. He is happy to see the happy lot of the nightingale. His happiness is so intense that he feels the physical illness. The line, "It is not through envy of the happy lot," may be used as a satire against the human beings living in our earth. Next line, thou light-winged dryad of the trees. While considering Keats or reading Keats, the word, or better to say, literary term, Hellenism is used. Now, what is Hellenism? Hellenism is nothing but using Greek references in our present text, in our present context. The very word dryad is taken from Greek mythology. The word dryad means tree nymph. The nightingale is obviously considered to be the tree nymph, but its wings are light. We have to consider the very opposite of it, light-winged, the heavy-winged. If the nightingale is light-winged, then someone is there whose wings are heavy, who is heavy-winged, and obviously it refers to Keats himself. Keats resides in the problematic earth. As a poet, he is also like a bird. As a poet, he is also dryad. But extremely sorry to say, he is subdued by time. His wings are being heavy. In some melodious plot of Beech and Green, the nightingale is singing from a plot which is infested with beech tree, and the greenness, absolute greenness, covers the place. Right? The nightingale is singing and the plot is being melodious. How can plot be melodious? Actually, the bird is melodious, and that profuse strain, profuse music of the bird makes the entire plot echoing. It is on kind of echoing green. Echoing Green is a poem written by William Blake. And shadows numberless. We are reading Keats. The leaves of the trees in Keats's poem are not congested, well congested. Naturally, there are gaps and gaps and gaps in between two leaves. Naturally, the sunlight falls on the ground. And if we look at the ground, then we will see the darkness and again light. Again darkness, again light. If we count the shadows, then it will be numberless. I can give you an example. Suppose you are putting sunlight through a sieve. And the sieves are formed in such a way that there is too many holes, and sunlight falls through the holes, and there are so many shadows. In Wordsworth's poem, it will not happen. In Wordsworth's poem, the leaves of the trees are well congested. Naturally, in Tintanabe, we have seen dark sycamore. Yeah. Singest of summer in full-throated is. The bird is singing as if he is in summer mood. Summer, in England is very cozy and comfortable season. You are in good mood, you are singing rapturously, you are singing openly, without any internal or external problem, meaning you are in summer mood. Singest of summer in full-throated is. I have already told you that you don't have any internal or external problem. You don't have any psychological problem. You don't feel any pressure. Then you will sing with your open throat. The nightingale is singing as if no burden is there. The nightingale is singing by opening his full throat. So, in the very first stanza, we have seen the nature of the nightingale song and the physical illness of Keats, and we have also known the very reason of his illness. The genuine reason of his illness is being too happy in thy happiness. So, my darling students, let's call it a day.